Hello YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with a comic haul. I have what's left from my vacation haul, just one more book, and an eBay haul. So let's get into it. First I have Tales to Astonish number 48. I'll give you the short version, the extremely short version of this story. I went to a comic shop on vacation. They had a lot of older comics, but they were all kind of rough. This was just sitting on the counter, and I saw it immediately, like, well, that's an old one. And they said, yeah, it's got a lot of things wrong with it. And I was like, well, let's talk about it, right? Because I was interested. The cover actually presents pretty good, I think. So I asked them, what was wrong with it. They're like, well, take a look. So I took a look. Of course, there's rubbing here. There's a couple of corners chipped up. And then also, if you look a little closer, the staples are detached at both sides. So it's completely detached cover. And then big color breaking crease. So I mean, there's some color issues already on the book. A little bit of staining here and there. So it's a rough book. Probably a 3.5 or lower. And then, but with the staples completely detached, that drops it down almost completely. And then the book inside is Tales to Astonish 48, but it's not the original to this one. And you can tell because when you open it up, the book staples are here and here. So they don't match up with the holes from the original cover and the original book. So you can tell that it's a married cover with the book. And in this case, I don't even think they're married. They're like separated or, trying out new things or seeing other people or something, It's just they're going through something. It's complicated. So it's pretty rough. So anyway, and then the back cover, or not the back cover, but the last page of the book also has like a dollar-sized rip in it, so it's also story interrupting. So at best, I would give this book a 0.5. The guy looks up the Overstreet pricing guide, and I was shocked. I don't know that I've seen a shop owner pull out the Overstreet price guide and look it up. I don't know that I've ever seen that. So he pulled it out, looked it up, and it was $750 in great condition. I was like, yeah, okay. So anyway, we had talked about it over and over, and we're kind of laughing and just making fun of the book the whole time. And he was like, yeah, I'd probably just get rid of it for $10. It's so messed up. And I laughed and I said, sold. I gave him $10 and I walked out with it. So, which I was very happy with. For $10 for that Kirby cover alone, $10. Shoot, man, I'll do that all day long. And then, so on to the eBay haul. I'll speed it up a little bit. None of these books are going to blow your skirt up, but for the price I paid, I was very happy. I'll go through them real quick. Superman 75, Death of Superman. Everybody's got one of those. Infinity War number 2. It's got a nice wraparound cover on that. Pretty nice. I say everybody has one, but I didn't have one. That's like a third or fifth printing or something like that. Oh, it's a second print. It's a second print. So I didn't have one of those yet. So here's Infinity War 3. And it also has a nice wraparound cover. So I'll tell you real quick, these were all in the same lot. So and that gets important a little later. Here's Web of Spider-Man number 90. This is the silver foil edition. There was a gold foil edition as well, delineated different printings. One's direct also, and one is a newsstand. The Batman Adventures number 2, signed by Ty Templeton. So that's a nice little censure there. I like that he put that silver on there. It goes really well with the book. It almost hides in the book. Like when you're first looking at the book up top, if you were picking this through a bin, you wouldn't see that. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Here is Ultimate Fantastic Four number 28, signed by Greg Land. Right there. I really liked the Sue Storm in that. Or Sue Reed or whatever. I really liked that one. So let's see. And then we have Kevin Maguire signed Superman Batman 27. And I don't have any books with Power Girl on them or the Huntress. So this is my first Power Girl book. So definitely I see what the fuss is all about. And also the Huntress. Not bad for a secondary. Then I got Spawn number 1. This is all in the same lot. Spawn number 1. Great condition. Easily a 9.6 and maybe a 9.8 candidate with a pressing. I don't even know that it needs a pressing for it, but it's an immaculate condition. I've held off on buying this book a few times just because I wanted one in great condition. And there it is. Spawn number 2. And Spawn number 10. And last in this lot, certainly not least by anything, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 100-page spectacular, Heroes in a Half Shell. This is signed by Kevin Eastman and also by Mike Dooney, and it's got a remark by Dooney. And I've never had a book that had a remark on it, so I'm really happy to have that. I think that's cool. So I'll just go real quick about this story. Here's my thing, and here's a little tip for eBay buyers and sellers, but probably mostly for sellers. This was all in one lot, and it also contained about 12 other books in the same lot that I sold already. Just flipped them right away, same day that I got them in. And the reason that I did that was because there were other signatures in this lot. There were other, Marvel and DC's and independent books, but the lot was huge, and I wanted to sell off some of the other books in order to pay for these. So basically, I got these for free. Well, not just basically. I got these for free, made money, and sold the others. So you're like, well, and I do that quite often. So the idea is, well, how do I do it and other people don't do it? Well, it's not so much about the buyer. So don't feel like you're doing anything wrong on eBay as a buyer. It's more about the seller. So the seller on this one, I'm thankful for how it all went down, obviously. But as a seller, I would recommend you to not put your Marvel and your DC lots together, because they tend to, if you're a Marvel buyer, a lot of people put in Marvel comic lot as a search term, or DC comic lot as a search term. And when you see these mixed lots, if people don't have an outlet for selling books that they don't care about, then it's just a bunch of crap that they're going to accumulate, and they're going to have to pay a higher dollar for it in order to get all those. And they don't want to do that. Most people don't want to do that. Unless there's people who do flip books or do sell books in any way, then they don't want the extra books that they don't care about to be cluttering up their collection, and then they got to pay higher for the lot because it has so many books. This lot had too many books. There's 30-something books in this lot. I mean, there's no reason to have a lot that large if it's going to be that erratic. Now, if you got 30 books and they're all Batman books, you got 30 books for all Spider-Man books, I don't care what you do. But if you got 30 books and it mixes Marvel, DC, and independent and all those, and then it adds signatures to the mix, there were 7 signed books in this lot. You don't need to have 7 signed books in a lot. Personally, this book alone should have been listed by itself and would have sold for more than I paid for the entire lot. Now, the person who's seeking this book is probably not the same person who's seeking this book. It's not the same person who's seeking that book. You see, what happens is that the people are searching for specific things, and they don't find your lot because in the description you couldn't possibly write. You couldn't even write all the 7 books that you had signed in that lot description. By the time you write comic lot, Marvel, DC, independent, most people are going to be like, well, I don't want the independents. I don't want, But if you're going to get independents, I think the Turtles and Spawn are 2 great examples of independent comics that do have value and are good. For instance, this included an Angela 9, and first appearance of Angela in the Spawn lot. I think it's Spawn number 9. I already own it. So I sold that one. So a lot of books that were in there were pretty good books, but you're not going to get a good sale. And so this was an auction. I sniped it at the last minute as I was, I had an earlier bid in, but then I waited and I put in my top dollar bid, and it sold for far less than that. And I got the whole set, and I was very happy. So I'm not, if you're selling stuff I want, don't change it, But just as a tip to people who are selling on eBay, don't mix your lots like this, because that's why I got this lot so cheap. I got the lot so cheap because it was too mixed. It had too many things going on, and most people only search things that are going to wind up in the description. And if you couldn't have searched, you couldn't have had a perfect enough search for this to pop up for every person that would enjoy one of these or 2 of these books. And like I said, any one of these higher dollar books or any one of these signed books would have been more than I paid for the entire lot. So that would have worked out better. So don't get lazy. Split up your books, split up, do the additional listings it takes, and you'll make more money on eBay that way. And also on the flip side, if you're someone who buys comics on eBay, don't make your comics, don't be lazy. Don't make your searches for comics very specific. Make them broad and dig. Treat it like you went to the comic shop and you're digging through a dollar bin. If you've ever done that and you've had that hunting feeling, treat eBay that way, and you'll score more wins that way, because you'll find listings that other people didn't find. Misspellings, all kinds of weird stuff goes on. You'll find stuff that they didn't find because you used a broader search. The most basic search you can. My number one search, comic lot, ending soonest, auction. That's it. Sometimes I just put comic and I see what pops up. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's my little haul. Probably have several more hauls to come. I've been real active lately. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe and give it a like, and there'll be more to come. So thanks. When you get done reading all this, go ahead and crack open one of these comics and read it. Thanks. Bye.